Hey, this is Andrew Jones. You're watching On Deck with Tyler.
Hey guys, Mike Fulton here. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hi, this is Phil Necro. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
This is Walk the Banks. I'm on deck. Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date with all things Braves baseball. And typically, now is the time I would tell you about what happened last night, give you a game recap, and where the Braves would go from there. But I think we're all scratching our heads a little bit right now. At one time, I said that starting pitching was our biggest weakness. That was only a few weeks ago after Felix Hernandez opted out, Cole Hamels got hurt, and Mike Foltynewicz was designated for assignment. I still think that was the case, but now I think that to even a higher degree. I think what happened yesterday showed just how much we were relying on Mike Soroka and Max Fried. And in case somehow you've managed to not hear the news, Mike Soroka in the third inning yesterday took a strange step off the mound and collapsed while limping toward the dugout. Everyone feared the worst as he was helped off the field, and their fears were realized when it was confirmed that yes, he tore his Achilles tendon and he would be done for the year and possibly moving into the 2021 season. Our starting rotation was weak, but Soroka was undoubtedly the ace. Last year, he was an all-star. He had an ERA of 2.68, and he was 6th in Cy Young voting. He was looking to have a similar year, currently holding a 1.59 ERA, and it was just a freak accident. It was, unfortunate. I'll tell you, I've met Mike Soroka. He's a very friendly guy. He's one of the friendliest players on the Braves, one of the nicest guys in the game. And you don't wish this on anyone, much less someone like that. So this is really unfortunate for the Braves. They had postseason expectations, relying primarily on Soroka to pitch that. And, but it's really unfortunate for Mike Soroka. We're talking about a guy's career. We're talking about at least a year off of a guy's career. He's losing the equivalent of a season the rest of this year and maybe until the All-Star break next year. So where do the Braves go from here? We got to move on. Got to figure out what we're going to do. Let's talk about it. I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not really sure. I've seen two conversations about guys who could possibly be called up to be a fifth starter. I don't think either one of them are the guy, but we're going to talk about it real quick. The first one is Ian Anderson. And Ian Anderson is someone you can definitely be excited about in the future. If you don't know who this guy is, he is the Atlanta Braves' future. He's going to be a part of the rotation someday. I don't think this is the move the Braves are going to make. I don't think that would be the right move. I don't think rushing somebody into this monster of a season is the right move. Just out of pure frustration, I don't think that is what we need to do. That's not how you take care of a prospect, and it's not how you make sure that they have a very fluid entrance into Major League Baseball. With that said, Kyle Wright has been very impressive, right? But he hasn't made it out of the fourth inning. The Braves view Kyle Wright as more capable of handling big league hitters than Ian Anderson right now. That's why they haven't brought him up. If they thought he was better than Kyle Wright, he'd be in Kyle Wright's shoes. That's just how it goes. So don't think Ian Anderson's just going to walk in and throw 6 innings every day he starts and just perform really well. That's not always how it goes. It may happen in a year or two, but not right now. If he was going to be the fifth starter, that'd be different. But to bring in a guy to fill the shoes of Mike Soroka is not the correct way to bring him in. He may prove me wrong, but I just don't think that's the logical choice. The other guy who I've seen conversations about is Mike Foltynewicz. If you know me, you know I'm a Mike Foltynewicz fan. I love Mike Foltynewicz. I think he's very underrated. When his stuff is on, he's on. Unfortunately, this year he's not. We've seen it. He was designated for assignment with obvious issues to figure out, number one being velocity. That happened only a little over a week ago. So for the Mike Foltynewicz project to work, you have to give him time to figure it out. 1 week is not enough time. Granted, I'm not on the inside. I would like to see Folty come back and be ready, and I don't think a week is enough time to fix velocity. I want a return like he had last year, not a return where he's going to come back and do what he did in the early days of this season. I don't want to see him come back unprepared. I want to see him come back and be the Mike Foltynewicz that we know. So I don't think that's what the Braves want either. I don't think that's the move they're going to make. So have I shot your idea down? Let me know in the comment section. Did you think Ian Anderson or Mike Foltynewicz is going to be the guy to come back? If you do, that's fine. I haven't been proven to be correct yet. So let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll certainly have a conversation with you there. So what do I think it's going to be? Who do I think is going to get the call up? Bryce Wilson is on the taxi squad. He's traveling with the Braves right now. I think he's next in line to have a shot. The Braves rarely skip over someone in line like that. I think he's the next guy. Unless there's a major trade, I think Bryce Wilson is your next guy. We've seen Newcomb and Tukey come in and be successful. Now I think we see Bryce. And if you're wondering what he looked like in AAA, last year through 121 innings pitched, he had a 3.42 ERA. In all of the minors, that's over 4 seasons, he had a 2.94 ERA, and he had 4 strikeouts for every walk. So if he can just pitch and have some quality starts, the Braves' offense could be enough to drive in some wins for him. That is yet to be seen. We're going to have to wait and see how it goes. Hopefully, he'll perform better than his last stints in the majors, and he'll be able to keep a spot there for the rest of the season. But I'd be lying to you if I told you that I was confident at this point. I've been saying for weeks now that starting pitching is just weak on the Braves right now. It's just a fact. Fulte isn't there. Chacin didn't work out. Cole Hamels is hurt. Newcomb and Tukey are questionable. There's a lot of questions around starting pitching for the Atlanta Braves. So what happens when and if we get to a postseason? That's the question I know I'm going to inevitably get. We got to get to a postseason first. Starting pitching is what gets you there. We haven't got there yet. Don't look to see the Braves make it to a postseason. Don't expect to be in a postseason. We have to work to get there. Who knows? I don't really know what happens. I doubt the Braves are just going to write this season off. They're going to compete, certainly. But at the same time, we don't want to expend all of what we have that we've grown for this strange season. And frankly, this season hasn't been friendly to the Braves. It hasn't been friendly to a lot of teams in the league. I don't think a lot of teams are going to make a blockbuster trade. I hope that the Braves don't make a huge blockbuster trade and trade away 6 prospects for an excellent starting pitching, because I really think that the future is for the Braves. I don't think it's going to be this season. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago what I thought, I would tell you that, one starting pitcher and we're good to go. Now, obviously, things have changed. But I wanted to get that out of the way before we talked about last night's game. It was Soroka versus DeGrom, the Aces. And DeGrom just had a DeGrom night. He had 6 innings pitched. He only gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and he had 10 strikeouts. That last number, 10 strikeouts. The Braves have got to put the ball in play if they're going to have a chance to win. They didn't do that a lot last night. We talked a lot about the strikeouts, most notably with Acuna. Last night they faced an elite pitcher, so you can't really put the blame on them too much. I mean, you're facing Jacob deGrom, literally the best pitcher in the National League. So, of course, Soroka left the game in the 3rd inning, and that caused runs to come across for the Mets. Soroka did get in trouble before he left, but ultimately him leaving the game is why there was such a high number of runs. And that, again, that's not anyone's fault. That is ultimately Soroka's responsibility. But at the end of the day, the guy went down with a leg injury that ended his season. So I don't think you can credit the Mets. I don't think you can discredit what the Braves did last night. So basically what happened, Rosario would single in the 3rd inning, then Nimmo walked, so you got runners on 1st and 2nd. Conforto would single, scoring Rosario, 1-0 Mets. Alonso, who has struggled so much this year, and especially against the Braves, he would walk. Cano would single, that would score 2 runs, Conforto and Nimmo, 3-0 Mets. J.D. Davis would ground into a fielder's choice, causing Soroka to take that wrong step and tear his Achilles tendon. He would leave the game down 3 runs. Chris Russin would come in after that with runners on 1st and 3rd. Smith would walk, loading the bases. Ramos would single, scoring Alonso, 4-0 Mets. A pop-out and a ground-out would finally end that 3rd inning. Moving on to the 4th, with 1 out, Conforto would single, Alonso would walk, and Cano would single to center, scoring Conforto, 5-0 Mets. In the 5th inning, Ramos would hit a 2-run homer off of Russin. The Braves would finally respond with Travis d'Arnaud homering off Jacob deGrom, 7-1 Mets. And Travis d'Arnaud just continues to battle at the plate, show what kind of offensive material he's working with, especially against the Mets. You love to see a guy hit a homer against his former team. Inciarte would walk after that, and Ronald Acuna would score him with a single. drive again Inciarte from first to home, 7-2 Mets. That would be the final score, and yes, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth always to lose to the Mets, lose to anybody, but of course a division rival. But at the end of the day, it's one loss. The biggest loss yesterday is the loss of Mike Soroka, and we really got one over on the Mets this series. I think we're up on them 5-2 now. The Braves still have a winning record. A lot to look forward to this season, hopefully some big moments. Again, prayers go out to Mike Soroka. Hope we can get you back as soon as possible, hopefully before the season starts next year, but it's looking like it's going to be around the All-Star break before we see Mike Soroka. That's all I got for today. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell for notifications, and hey, follow me on social media, Tyler Redmond, at BubblegumJesus on Twitter and Instagram. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time on deck.